Take this design right here. This was an old design for the Myers and Briggs Foundation. It's quite an ugly logo, right? I mean, look at it. And then finally, someone had the bright idea to actually redesign it. And here is that redesign. Much better, I'm sure you will agree. However, I've toyed with the idea of having the floral motif on the left instead of the right. Anyway, it's a vast improvement for sure, that goes without saying. But this isn't the best logo redesign of 2023 so far. Before we get into the juiciest redesign of 2023, there are two notable examples that we should look at looking forward to next year. Nokia had this logo for many years. That is until 2023. The new logo has sharp, angular lines and negative letter strokes. It's a very new take on the old design for sure, and it turned out to be quite polarizing online. Me personally, I'm kind of in the middle on the whole thing, and I find the older I get as a designer, I put more importance into functionality over aesthetics when it comes to things like a logo design. A logo should be memorable and iconic above anything else. The new Nokia logo for me has pros and cons to it, but I'm not about to go on Twitter, X, and go on a complete tirade. Another notable logo design this year is the 7up logo. Now I actually quite like the new redesign. Well, that is when it's seen on the can itself. Standing alone as a logo, it kind of still reminds me of a motor racing decal, or something like that. But on the can, we can see high contrast lines that give a sense of upward thrust. The citrus symbolism on the packaging now features brighter colors and abstract shapes. So as a package design, I do think it works quite well. I like it a lot actually. And I guess the logo by itself does feel somewhat memorable, but again, I neither love it nor hate it. I guess it does its job, right? What about the logo design that I really do love? You know, the logo design that could have the title for Best Redesign of 2023. So here's the old Bolt logo. This logo isn't terrible. It's pretty generic though, and it kind of lacks a degree of creativity. It's pretty forgettable actually, which for me is the biggest issue of all. On the other hand, however, the new design is a vast step up. The lightning bolt has been creatively placed between the L and the T, and this is a great example of negative space on a logo design. The typeface is bold and it's modern and it just works so well for me. However, the redesign does go far deeper than just a logo. As seen on the design studio's website, we can see how the bold and fresh color scheme is used throughout the entire brand, along with the modern typeface and the modern approach. The entire visual language has been changed and uplifted for modernization, uniqueness, and memorability. I simply just love this graphic design facelift, so hats off to Koto Studio on this one. But what about redesigning this puppy? Well, before we do that, I've got something pretty important to show you. It's something that has taken my planning and my workflows to a whole other level. Scrintl is a great place to brainstorm, plan, and orchestrate your design workflows. Now, I'm really finding it such an intuitive way to plan out my design concepts and also my ideas. If you're working on a logo design, like for this handcrafted candle company here, you can streamline each phase of the design process from start to finish. And on Scrintl, everything is purposely orderly and neat, which is awesome for a neat freak like myself. And color coding my boards just feeds right into that neat freakness. In a good way, of course. And as you can see, I have the main card of this first phase right here, which then leads to each part of my research on this specific project. And from there on, I can navigate around my project with ease simply just by clicking each link. It's actually really easy to pick up and use without any prior knowledge of what Scrintl even is. And I found the UI to be super silky smooth. Now you can also collaborate really easily with fellow designers or even clients, because you can share your boards with public URLs. I also find the embed function really useful, especially if I see something that's inspired me in a huge way and I think can be useful in my project. It's just really nice to have that video right there ready to access whenever I need it. But for you, the Satori viewers, you get a special discount of 20% off. And that's by using the link in the description box below. But you can also just use the code Satori20 for that 20% discount when signing up. But yeah, thanks to Scrintl for their awesome design tool and for sponsoring this part of today's video. When designing the Bolt logo, we need to do a few things in a very specific way. However, the logo type is actually a bespoke typeface that was created especially for the Bolt logo. So I've gone for a close match here with the typeface headline. but any super fat and bold sans serif would probably be ideal. The very first thing we need to do is to outline the text and then ungroup the characters. Now, I did think about non-destructive workflows, but we're going to roll with this approach today. I'm going to adjust a few of the anchor points on the T by pressing A for the direct selection tool. The top bar of the T needs to be a tad thicker than my current typeface. Also, I need to nudge it over to the left a smidgen and then bring a ruler from the guides just on the left edge of the T, like so. Now again, using the direct selection tool, let's bring all of the anchor points here over so we end up with a giant block shape. So this block is two shapes, so we need to select both of them and then come into the Pathfinder window. In the Pathfinder window, we're going to unite them together to one single shape. Now, it's time to work on that negative space shape that will make the bolt within the logo design itself. Press P for the pen tool and have a stroke selected with no fill. Coming from this corner of the T, hold Shift and extend the line over to the guide. It's then just a case of using the direct selection tool once again, and that is to move the anchor point over to this sort of location here. And remember to hold down Shift to keep things level. Or maybe your smart guides will just snap to location anyway. Now use the pen tool again to continue the path downward like so, but add a very slight curvature to this line by holding down your first click and then dragging it out. You want to be positioned a tiny bit just before the guide, but not on it. Then hold down Shift again and continue the path to the guide and then back up to the end of the path to close it. Pressing Shift and X will convert the stroke over to a filled shape, to which we then need to hold down the Alt Option key and click and drag to duplicate it. Hold down Shift and rotate it perfectly 180 degrees. Snap it to that guide and raise it up to the same position but just reflect it over. We're almost finished, but we need to do one crucial thing. Select both of your white shapes and unite them together in the Pathfinder window. Then select the new white shape and the black shape below and hold down the Command or the Control key whilst clicking the cutout option in the Pathfinder window. This will turn our cutout into a compound shape, meaning we can come back and edit it in the future if we need to. This is essentially the Bolt logo design, and one of many ways to do it. Adding the finishing brand color just really sets things off. And actually, I do love this brand color scheme so much. And hats off again to Koto Studio for smashing this logo and branding project. We all know logo designing can be tough, but if you want to learn 13 golden rules of logo designing, just click that video on screen. And until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.